What's happening, Sweatlodgers? I think it's been a while since I posted one of these. Been a little busy of late. Let's see. Let's talk about anger today. There's two kinds of anger. Well, for me, there's the frustration. Agitation leads to frustration, leads to anger. It's kind of like a flash in the pan. You know, you're just a little tired, cranky, angry. You snap at somebody. Um, Comes and goes, right? And then there's that anger that's really rage. It's like seething in you, builds and builds and builds. Maybe you felt slighted, or you're frustrated with yourself. You're not wanting to deal with how you've treated somebody, and you're running from it. Or sometimes you just haven't addressed something and it bubbles up. Dudes are really good at this. Like, take this emotion that's you're uncomfortable with, and I'm gonna stick it in a package, and put the package in a box, and the box in a drawer, which is in a chest, which you lock in a crate and then throw it in the lake. And that's how guys deal with stuff. Tough it out, avoidance. But then that thing is going to come, it's going to eventually break out and come crawling back out of that pond, wreaking havoc. So one of the tricks I do for flash anger or anxiety is, if you look straight up. I've heard that for like 2 seconds to 10 seconds, it short circuits on a physiological level. Do your own research, look it up. I'm not making it up, I promise. It short circuits, the lizard brain, that fight or flight anxiety response. From a spiritual standpoint, I'm looking up to my Father to, like, hey, give me strength, give me peace of mind. Let me address this, take this thought captive. And when you come back down, think about what you're angry about. What are you really angry about? I got the running joke: if your mother, girlfriend, wife is screaming at you about the dishes, it's not about the dishes. You can fix the dishes, you didn't fix the problem. And a lot of times our anger is kind of the same way. You're dealing with echoes or ripples of the core event. So when you're angry, and if you, like I said, you give it that 2 to 10 seconds, just look straight up, calm your mind, and when you come back down, you're like, why am I angry? Exactly what am I angry about? Now, this part is really more my thinking on it. I don't know the psychology behind it or even the physiology behind it, but it works. And I've had other people tell me it works. Because, and again, not sure about women, but I think it works there as well. Definitely for men. You're either in an emotional headspace or an intellectual, logical headspace. You can't be in both. Kind of like when you laugh about something. It's hard to be angry while you're laughing, It's hard to have cohesion thought if you're very sad or crying about something. So I think if you are focused on what's making you angry and why, you've moved out of that emotional headspace into the logical headspace. And then as you start dissecting what it is, you can take the power back, right? You can take back your sovereignty, your control. The anger and the rage may be justified. But if you let it run unchecked, it's going to wreak havoc. I've smashed things. I've broken things. I've lashed out at people. A handful of times I've laid hands on people. Aggressive fellowship. Now, to be fair, those events where I actually did that, somebody was getting hurt, or somebody came at me. So at least for the physical side of things, those were unique circumstances and often provoked. But I certainly have done it verbally and gone after somebody, passive aggressive or with a tone or sharp in a sharpish way that was out of character or unnecessary or unproductive. At the end of the day, it's unproductive. I know one of my heroes, Jocko Willink, he wrote it in his book, and I've seen him say it in a variety. He's talking about from a leadership role, if you have to pull rank or you got to scream at your people, you failed as a leader. You have. Because your job is to convey the message and the mission statement and get everybody on board with it. Or get them off the team, I guess. So if you're having to scream and yell at people, you miss the mark. And that comes from anger. And anger often is rooted in fear, right? That's a response to fear, is anger. So look up, give it a 2 count all the way up to a 10 count, breathe. When your head comes back down, the minute you're focusing back on the world, you got to ask yourself, why am I angry? What is making me angry? Exactly, the core issue. And then you can start planning on what you're going to do about it. And then at that point, if attack is the option you choose, right? Well, then at least you did it with forethought and it wasn't reactionary. Because all you're going to do is make your life miserable and the people around you miserable. So there you go, Sweat Lodgers. There's my thought for the day. And there's plenty in the world to make you angry if you let it. But really all it does is rob you of joy and peace. So rise above it. Know it for what it is. Know who it's coming from. There's a time and a place to let the Hulk out. Somebody's going after your family. Something's attacking your dog. Somebody's kicking in your door. Old lady's getting pushed down in the street. Okay, let the Hulk out then. The rest of the time, keep that bad thing contained. Use reason and wisdom and try to look at it from a perspective of love, which is really hard when you're frustrated and you're angry. But it's possible. I'm a walking example of it. I make that choice more often than I used to, but not as much as I want to. So, have a great Wednesday. Talk to you later.